Hello everyone, this is a review of my annotation notes. I'm going to go over all of these comments here for Ode to a Nightingale. I also have this file uploaded to Blackboard so you can look through it at your leisure on your own if you like. Alright, so anyway, I think the best way to go about this is, because it's a very long poem, we're going to just take it stanza by stanza. And guys, remember, stanzas are just referring to a certain group of lines. So this is stanza number 1. And our stanzas are actually labeled here, 1, 2, so on and so forth. We also, of course, have our line numbers labeled. This is in the Seagull Book of Poems, in that textbook. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and read the first stanza, and then I'm going to go back over my comments that I've written here. These are comments I've written for myself, but also to then pass on to you guys. Alright, so let's see here. So, first of all, let's talk a little bit about odes, what we should expect from them in general. We already know that we should expect an ode to praise or judge its subject. Another common thing for odes is to have a seeming subject or a false subject, as in this case, some would say the false subject is Ode to a Nightingale, is the nightingale itself, nightingale being a songbird, when he's actually talking about humanity's mortality, and his own mortality. Either way, subject would be the nightingale and human mortality. So, Ode to a Nightingale. My heart aches, and a drowsy numbness pains my sense, as though of hemlock I had drunk, or emptied some dull opiate to the drains 1 minute past, and leafy words had sunk. 'Tis not through envy of thy happy lot, but being too happy and thine happiness, that thou, light-winged dryad of the trees, in some melodious plot of beech and green and shadows numberless, singest of summer in full-throated ease. So guys, to recap what this stanza is saying, this is paraphrasing. I'm overwhelmed with sadness and confusion, as if I had drunk poison. So I'm going to pretend to be one of these nightingales, one of these birds, flitting happily around this beautiful scenery. So Keats is saying he's overwhelmed with these feelings, these negative feelings, but at least he can look at the nature that's around him as he's writing this, as he's contemplating this. And a couple of rhetorical devices that we can notice here, and things that are important to point out. To understand, first of all, again, that a nightingale is a bird, a songbird, and the nightingale throughout this poem is an extended metaphor, a metaphor that pops up over and over and over again. In the second line here, a couple of things. Pains my sense as though of hemlock I had drunk. Hemlock is a poison. It's a naturally occurring plant that is, made into a poison. It's naturally poisonous. Sometimes used as medicine, hemlock tea can be poisoned to commit suicide, or poison to cause a disoriented state. Causes confusion, rapid heartbeat, nausea, and some other unpleasant side effects. So he's saying he feels all of this stuff right now. As though of hemlock I had drunk, as if I had drunk this thing. That is a simile. Remember, a simile is saying something is like or as something else. Then in the next line, in line 4, we have an allusion. 1 minute passed, and leafy words had sunk. Leafy words is an allusion, if we look down at our footnote, to the river Lethe, whose waters in Hades bring the dead forgetfulness. Hades is not just the name of the god. Hades in Greek mythology is a place. It's basically the underworld, hell. So the river Lethe flows through hell, and it causes people to forget who they are. So remember, an allusion is a reference that is made to an audience that would totally understand that reference, a widely known, widely understood reference. So then another thing that we have to look at in this, another rhetorical device here, would be concrete imagery. He's describing the nature around him, a melodious plot of beach and green, a place full of harmony and peace. Beach and green being like a wide, stretching green field. The bird singeth of summer in full-throated ease. The bird is happily chirping and singing and all that stuff. Singest of summer is alliteration. Alliteration, again, is the repetition of consonant sounds. That's something that we'll see in, I think, more in this poem and in other poems. Let's move on to stanza 2, which we'll do in the next clip.